I'm doing what I'm referring to as an anti-inflammatory reboot for the purpose of dealing with this lingering kind of joint and muscle pain I've been having. Um, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and I'm letting you guys know exactly how I plan on going about it so that if you want to join in, you can. So let's get on into it. All right. So, like I said, I am doing what I'm referring to as an anti-inflammatory reboot. Reason why I'm doing that is because I've been experiencing like slower recovery from workouts, and I feel it especially in like my knee joints, um, in my wrists, and I specifically in areas where I'm like in my wrists, I had kind of slightly injured them from kind of straining them too much, and they healed some, but they haven't really healed all the way. And then even also in this these muscles that are like between like my deltoids and my lats, these muscles also have been aching a lot. So the healing has been slower. And so what I'm doing, it's slower healing. It's also just like aching, just aching that lasts longer than it should. And so I'm doing what I'm referring to as an anti-inflammatory reboot to make sure we flush out excess inflammation, really facilitate healing. That's something I'm kind of even realizing I need to pay a lot more attention to at this stage in my life. So this is what I'm doing. If this is something you're interested in doing, just follow along with me. These are the guidelines. All right, so one of the main things I'm doing is I'm going to consume 6 cups of greens every day. Now these greens are going to have onions and garlic. So when I talk about greens, I'm mainly talking about like kale, um, spinach, maybe turnip greens, stuff like that. But sauteed in a little olive oil. That's the way I'm gonna do them. And this is gonna be maybe some for breakfast, like with my breakfast. But the bulk of them are gonna be at lunch. So I'm literally going to measure these out and set them aside so that when it comes time to cook them, I can cook them. Now these are 6 cups of raw greens. Now we all know 6 cups of spinach is gonna cook down to like what a ounce of spinach it seemed like. But we're talking about raw greens, and then when we cook them, we'll just let it be what it is. And plenty of onions and garlic. All of these are very anti-inflammatory. Next thing is every day I'm gonna drink at least 1 cup of green tea. I typically already drink green tea most days, sometime after lunch. So that's what I'm doing with that. And then a cup of ginger tea at nighttime. And this will have a little bit of raw honey, both of those cups of tea. Both green tea and ginger tea are anti-inflammatory to a significant degree. I think I've recorded a video before where I show me making ginger tea. And yeah, so anyway, green tea, ginger tea. Another thing, my goal is to go outside for at least 30 minutes every day when the sun is out. Now, when the sun is highest is between 11 and I think 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And that's where you get more of those sun rays that help you to manufacture vitamin D when those sun rays hit your skin. Of course, you got to be mindful. You don't want to go out there and burn. Even me, I don't burn easily because, being a black person, I don't burn easily. However, you still have to be mindful. So I'm not going to be out there forever, but maybe about a half, like I said, about a half hour when the sun is out doing yard work. Probably, I use that time and have more skin exposed, like have no shirt on or something like that, shorts, to manufacture vitamin D, which is very um, anti-inflammatory. I'm also going to practice deep breathing, 5 minutes twice a day. So that'll probably be in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening time. In the morning, when I wake up, I'm already pretty calm, because I just woke up. I spent a whole night of deep breathing. But in the afternoon, coming off of, a time like work or whatever, and then evening time, this both of those times, deep breathing to help me to wind down. And to pray 3 times a day. That's what I do as a part of my faith. I need to really dial my prayer in. So that's something that I'm doing personally. Um, seeking the Lord and really, really kind of like, affirming like who I get my help from. Also, I'm gonna practice afternoon quiet time slash journaling. So like basically time where I can kind of sit and be still and just write down whatever I feel is being deposited in my spirit. I'm going to do that because again, something about coming off of around at work time, lunchtime. I mean, just being able to kind of be still and not have anything input or anything I'm trying to figure out. I know that's something I need to practice with. There's so many distractions and so many inputs in this life, in this day and age, and I know that I need this. So I'm gonna practice that. And then another thing is um, evening affirmations. I have different kind of affirmations. Things basically. The reason why I want to do affirmations, which is something I've done periodically but never consistently, but the reason I want to do that stuff is, because I really want to put stuff inside of my heart. And one thing I do know is, even though I haven't been faithful with affirmations a whole lot, one thing I do know is that things that I repeat do eventually become a part of my thought process, you know. And so, we a lot of times unintentionally begin to think things because of what we kind of put in our minds, the news, gossip, all this kind of stuff. But I really want to dial into um, things I can deposit in my mind that are going to help me to be calm, help me to believe, that more is possible. And again, all of these kind of meditative things I'm doing, all of this kind of stuff that helps you to calm, it helps you to keep your immune system in balance, so that also, well, in other words, it's also anti-inflammatory as well. So one of the ways I'm measuring my green intake is this container that you see right here. This is just a regular plasticware container I have in the cabinet. And I realized some time ago that you can look at the bottom of these, and a lot of times they'll have like the actual volume of the container. The volume of this container here is 5 cups. So what I'm doing is I am putting, my kale in it to measure it out, and I'm stuffing it in there because I mean, there's a lot of air even as I put the greens in, so I'm really stuffing it in there to make sure it's 5 solid cups of greens, and yeah, so just packing it in there real good. This is what I'm gonna use probably every day to measure out my greens, and as I said with the little slideshow, these will be sautéed with onions and garlic, like plenty of onions and garlic. This stuff is supposedly real good for your gut, your microbiome, because the various fibers and colors and whatnot actually help to feed certain kind of bacteria, good bacteria that is. Here's another small container that I have in the cabinet. This one is 1 1/4 cups. So, the 5 cups from the large container plus this will be approximately 6 1/4 cups of greens. Again, I'm approximating. The main thing for me though is that I get at least 6 cups of greens, and then again, the with the onions and the garlic. Yeah, so I'm going to use this container I think as well to help me, to measure out my stuff. Again, most of my greens will probably be in with lunch. These little bit of greens in this cup will probably be for breakfast. Here's the green tea that I drink. It's Bigelow green tea. The bags are not plastic, so that's good. I'm gonna drink at least 1 mug, which I think is 2 servings a day. Might even drink 2 mugs. And finally, here is how I prepare the ginger. Whenever I'm gonna use it for tea, we get the ginger root, basically peel the skin off, and then use that, to cut in some slices of small chunks and use that to boil tea. I think I recorded a video a long, long time ago where I demonstrated this. um, if I remember, I'll try to link to it. But anyway, it's not really anything to it. You just peel it and, like I said, cut into slices or chunks, and then boil it. And it boils pretty vigorously. And but anyhow, you kind of have to watch it sometimes so it doesn't kind of bubble over. But you boil it for probably about what, maybe 15 minutes, and then put it in your mug and get some honey with it, and there's your tea. But anyway, this is what I do in the evening time. Apparently, ginger tea is very anti-inflammatory, has a lot of other benefits as well. But anyway, if you want to join me, put a comment in the comment section. Let me know that you'll be joining me. And also, if you have any questions, any other questions about what I'm doing aside from what I've actually presented in this video, make sure you let me know in the bottom as well. If there's one thing I've learned about getting fitness results, it's that a big key to losing weight, building muscle, and getting stronger is making sure that you make continuous progress from one workout to the next. This is why I have tracked my workouts for the past 20 years. So I've created a special digital fitness journal that you can use to track your workouts the same way that I do, to ensure that you make the continuous workout progress necessary to get the results you desire. You can record exercises, sets, reps, and even take notes to keep track of those nitty gritty yet important workout details. There's also space to track your big fitness goals, as well as a spot to record your weight and waist circumference so you can really see your results. Get your copy today of my digital fitness journal so you can start moving toward your results right now. Link is in the description.